for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Today, top 5 landmarks in America that should wake people up. Now, obviously, we could choose more than 5, but the reason I wanted to do this is because I have videos on all of these things, and I wanted to put it together in one informative video. I know the zombies out there are more likely and more prone to watching videos that are top 5 or top 10 lists. They seem to enjoy it. So let's hope that this is the type of video that helps wake people up, because these landmarks are out there for you to see on your own, for you to question on your own. When you see these things, you should question why they're there, why they exist in this country, why they're allowed to be here in our country. So I present to you the top 5 landmarks that should wake people up. Number 5, we'll start at the Bohemian Grove, the statue of Moloch. Now, as you'll see in the photographs here, we have some bizarre, creepy people standing in front of it with torches lit. If you're not aware of what they're doing, they're performing a satanic ritual in which they sacrifice a human being or a child in most cases. Now, they'll tell you that it's a fake sacrifice, which you also could have seen on the television show House of Cards, when they showed you in plain sight that this really does exist. Now, who would be at such an event? Well, the most powerful people in the world, that too, would be dressing up in cloaks, performing rituals such as the cremation of care, a ritual in which all their cares are now gone, and they can do without wilt out in the woods, including disgusting, disturbing sexual acts that are performed with prostitutes which are brought in, homosexual activity, pedophilia, all that type of stuff. You've got presidents in the past such as George Bush, Nixon, Reagan, many of them enjoying the Bohemian Grove, as well as people of power in all types of industries that control the reality we exist in. Editors from the New York Times to CNN to the Washington Post to NBC Nightly News, all of these people are there. I wonder why. Is it because they're all rich and successful? Well, it's all because they're a part of the same brotherhood, and they're there plotting the future events that they're going to create and occur. So the Owl of Moloch is there for you to see if you're unfortunate enough to ever get inside of the very well protected and almost impossible to get inside of Bohemian Grove. Number 4, the Denver Airport. 58.3 million people on average pass through this airport every year. And the hope is when 58.3 million people pass through a location like this, that maybe they can see the truth, because the Denver Airport, which is a landmark in itself because it's an airport, it's not a monument, but on the inside you can find all sorts of monuments and paintings depicting the New World Order, telling you what the future holds, yet people just walk by aimlessly, because nowadays people are more likely to buy a watch, a Rolex, or a Coach purse inside of an airport, believe it or not, because the airports are now stores. It's like going through the mall when you go through an airport. But 58.3 million people go through there, and you can only hope that maybe they would stop and smell the roses. See something such as this time capsule, scribed with the Freemasonry symbol and the words New World Airport Commission, which sits right in the middle of the airport. If you're not aware, the Freemasons are a secret society. For those of you who have heard of the quote-unquote Illuminati, or the elites, or of a New World Order, well, the Freemasons are one of the branches of these secret societies, and just about everybody, whether they're in a satanic branch of the New World Order Covenant, or they're Jesuit, or they're a Zionist, at some point they go through the ranks of Freemasonry, where they're taught that Lucifer is the god of the world, the god of the earth, and they give their devout worship to Lucifer, while also believing that they're gods amongst us who are here to control us. So that sits in the airport, as well as the mural that everybody has seen, which, I mean, it speaks for itself, does it not? Did some artist just say, this would be great for anybody who's heading from Denver to Newark Airport? This would just be nice for them to see before they get on their plane, the slaughtering, the death of children and people, while this man with a gun and a mask stands over them with a sword. This is supposed to be a normal painting that is supposed to reflect art. That's what they want you to believe. It reflects the future and the New World Order, just like the time capsule says. And of course, underneath the Denver airport, what do we have? Well, we have massive underground operations occurring. But people are told, hey, this is just your military doing basic things down there. Nothing to worry about, folks. Trust in us. When in fact, there is trafficking going on underneath here. There is smuggling of all sorts of drugs and things going on underneath here. And nobody questions any of it. So coming in at 4, the Denver airport. Number 3, the Washington Monument. Now, most of you have seen this symbol before because it's not just in Washington, D.C. that this giant obelisk is erected. You'll see it all around the world, including in Vatican City. Now, the obelisk represents Baal's shaft. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means Satan's shaft. Phallus worship, because that's what they're all about. Now, here's the coincidence we're supposed to believe. The Washington Monument's dimensions. Ready for it? Are you sure? 555.5 feet tall and 55.5 feet wide. Now you might say, well, what does that mean? That's not too suspicious. Well, being that it represents Baal's shaft, as it's supposed to, right? Do you find it a coincidence that if this represents Satan's shaft, that it is 6,666 inches in height, and in width it is 55.5 feet, which equals 666 inches? Coincidence? What do you think? This is how they operate in plain sight. The dimensions are deliberately there. This is a satanic monument, and of course it reflects off of water, which is always a common theme that you'll see. Reflecting off of water. You'll see most of these monuments reflect off of water. That represents as above, so below. That's why you always see these reflecting pools. So number 3, the 666 by 6,666 inches tall Washington Satanic Baal Shaft Monument. Number 2, the Statue of Liberty. Quite often seen in every single movie which will show or depict New York City, or will be something about America, the pride of America, and that this is a symbol of freedom. Well, the Statue of Liberty isn't quite what you think, because it's the statue of Isis. And it was a gift from French Freemasons in the year 1884. Oh, we're hearing of Freemasons again. What a coincidence. I think not. The French Freemason who designed it, displaying the hidden hand of Freemasonry, you can see in this photo, another symbol which I've exposed. They operate through these hand gestures and photos all the time to communicate with other Freemasons, Satanists, because that's really what these people are. The statue of Isis is more Egyptian garbage that is pushed in the United States of America and around the world. Of course, Isis is waiting for her beloved husband, Osiris, who happens to be, coincidentally, the father of Horus. And what do we know about Horus? Well, Horus, the all-seeing eye of Horus, wink, wink. Have you ever seen that symbol before? Yeah. So this is the statue of Isis, which sits here in America. It has nothing to do with American freedom. It has nothing to do with anything other than this Egyptian satanic god worship. That's all that it stands for. And coming in at number 1, no surprise here. The only surprise should be that this thing somehow is still up and nobody has smashed it down yet, but it is surrounded by cameras around the clock, and that is the Georgia Guidestones. Yes, the Georgia Guidestones, which are up in Elbert County, Georgia, which is in the middle of nowhere, which is clearly on an axis line. They wanted to build this specifically on this axis line at this axis point. So what is it? Well, It's their commandments, the commandments of the future, of what they believe the world should be like. Should we go through them? Who's ready for it, huh? The Masonic commandments of the New World Order, and nobody seems to be mad that they're sitting there. Here we go, let's read them. Number 1, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Number 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Aren't we seeing that? The perfect push exercise.